Hello everyone, welcome to lecture 2.2, Music and Musicking. Drawing from the reading Musicking Prelude written by Christopher Small, he argues that music is not a thing but an activity. It's something that people do. If you are used to the definition of music in the Western culture, you might have a counter-argument against this statement because in Western music, especially the classical music, we usually treat music as some object or a thing, as the notated scores. That's what we usually refer to as music. But so the habit of thinking abstractions, of taking from an action what appears to be its essence, and of giving that essence a name, is probably as old as language. It is useful in the conceptualizing of our world, but it has its dangers. So this abstraction of music, of giving something a name and conceptualizing things, actually lays the foundation of the Western classical music. But the privilege of Western classical music above all other musics is a strange and contradictory phenomenon. On the other hand, it is claimed to be an intellectual and spiritual achievement that is unique in the world's music cultures. On the other hand, it appeals to only a very tiny minority of people. Classical records account for only 3% of all record sales. So, of course, this statistic of record sales doesn't cannot really evaluate the value of classical music. And the complexity, the structure, and forms, the intelligence the Western classical music carries cannot be devalued by the record sales. But this statement or this investigation actually reorient our attention to the world's music beyond the Western classical music, so that we know that there are many forms of music, and if when we talk about music, we should refer to all those this encompassing term of music, but not to privilege Western music to a special status and ignoring other the music from other cultures. So to further illustrate our habit of thinking abstractions, of conceptualizing the world and giving things a name, we refer to the book, The Musical Human, we used in previous lecture. So in its chapter 8, Endgames, it states that Western music splits away from the musical mainstream at the same time that Western science really takes off. And it acquires three of science characteristics: a liking for big names, an experimental method, and a sense of historical progress. Foundational for all these traits was an obsession with preserving music in the written notation. So the abstraction of music into the notes and into the scores lays the foundation for the Western classical music. So because of Western music's unique fixation with writing notes down in scores, it is the only musical superpower with a fully recorded history. So it partially explains why Western music is privileged than other than other world's music. Because when we refer to Western music, there is a four line of history, and there's a huge corpus we can refer to. But for most of music from other cultures, they actually get lost in the history, and there's very little things we can refer to because they are not written down, and through the development of the society, of the history, and most of the things got lost. So this is part partial reason for why Western music became the superpower um, of the world of music. And also because the Western science takes off, people pay more attention to the scientific methods that's proposed in such sciences, and we start to treat music in the same way we treat science, and in the same way we represent science, which refers to these three characteristics. We like big names, we like the experimental method, and we like this historical progress. So everything is actually resulted from our ideology, how we think and perceive the world. So on the other hand, what makes Western music history so troubling is that it is really a history of scores, not of people, albeit the scores are notationally attached to big names such as Handel, Mozart, and Brahms. So as we talked here, like the Western science, the Western music also like big names, but the big name of the composer became the only link of the music to the human beings. So we abstract these musical works into masterpieces and as though it exists on itself, and we intentionally ignored all the music making process and the people, the stories behind the process of doing or making this kind of music. Um, the participatory part of music is intentionally ignored. Therefore, it's not a history of people, but it's just a history of scores. So the presumed autonomous thingness of works of music is only part of the previously modern philosophy of art in general. What is valued is not the action of art, not the act of creating, and even less that of perceiving and responding, but the created art object itself. So the objectification of art is pretty prevalent in the modern philosophy or modern treatment of arts, not only in the music. So all the process, all the creation, all the creating, and all those perceiving, responding, the human part of the art is taken out, and what's left is the created art object itself. The fundamental nature and meaning of music lie not in objects, not in musical works, but in action, in what people do. It is only by understanding what people do as they take part in a musical act that we can hope to understand its nature and the function it fulfills in human life. So this is what's proposed by Christopher Small, that we should pay more attention to the action, to the creation of music, but not the final result, the object of art itself. And to understand the creating process of art or music can be a path to our understanding of the nature and the functions of the function the art fulfills in human life. So if we agree to, or if we take the statement that the idea that musical meaning resides uniquely in music objects, which means we totally accept the objectification of music, then we can draw four corollaries here. The first is musical performance plays no part in the creative process. So this is obviously not true, because performance is part of the creative process, and the expressive timing and the dynamics the performer endows to the musical work actually can change the perceptual understanding or the perceptual grouping structure of the work itself. And that changes how the listener perceive the music itself. Second, a musical performance is thought of as a one-way system of communication, running from a composer to individual listener through the medium of the performer. This statement is also not true because the communication between the performer or the music creator and the listener is a dynamic process, features the action perception loop. So, uh, in this process, both the music creator and the listener take part in the music making process, and this communication is bidirectional. It's not a one-way system. Third, no performance can possibly be better than the work that is being performed. So I believe all of us can instantiate some examples to counter this statement because we can think of some performance that exists in a certain circumstance with certain group of people that actually elevates the original musical work to the upper level that is better, that exceeds the original musical objects. So and also in certain circumstances, the improvisation of the performer also gives the original musical composition a new life through the performance, and that is actually thought better than the original work. Fourth, each musical work is autonomous. It exists without necessary reference to any occasion, any ritual, or any particular set of religious, political, or social beliefs. So this is also not true, as we already discussed before, that music is socially and culturally grounded. You cannot, the music cannot exist without a certain group of people with shared social forms, mode of production, and ideology. So this is the soil for music to grow, and if we take music as an autonomy, which means it exists by itself without all those factors, it is a false perspective or a false method to study uh, music, especially music from different ethnic groups. So after talking so much about the process, the making, the action of doing music, here is a definition or a term for such a thing, which is proposed by Christopher Small. It's called musicking. The musicking is the present participle, the gerund of the verb to music. So it means to perform or to make music. It emphasizes the action, the process of doing music. So therefore, it's called musicking. To music is to take part in any capacity in a musical performance, whether by performing, by listening, by rehearsing or practicing, by providing material for performance, such as composing, or by dancing. So musicking emphasizes the participatory nature of all humans in the process of music making. Musicking is an activity in which all those present are involved and for whose nature and quality, success or failure, everyone presents bear some responsibility. So musicking is a group activity and everyone present and everyone participated bear the responsibility and they contribute to the process of making music. So what does it mean when this performance of this work takes place at this time, in this place, with these participants? what's really going on here. So, uh, from the definition, we can actually take musicking as some instantiation of a general musical work at a specific time, location, and with specific group of people. So the general musical work can exist in abstraction and generally in various locations, but musicking, when this performance of this work takes place at this time, in this place with these people, then it became an unique experience, which is not replicable. After introducing the concept of music and musicking, here is another terminology. It's called musicality. So joining from the reading, Defining Ethnomusicology by Timothy Rice. Musical ability or musicality to an ethnomusicologist refers to the capacity of humans to create, perform, organize cognitively, react both emotionally and physically to, and interpret the meaning of man-made sounds. The definition assumes that all humans, not just those we call musicians, are musical to some degree, and that musicality, the capacity to make sense of music, defines our humanity and provides one of the touchstones of human experience. So here, the definition of musicality emphasizes that the musical ability is innate in our nature as human beings. So the so for everyone, for every human, uh, we have this ability to make sense of music, and the musicality doesn't only exist in a small group of people with musical talent or for the trained musicians. Instead, this is for all human, and it defines our humanity. And the study of musicality provides one of the touchstones of human experience. Musical thinking and doing may be as important to our human being in the world as is our ability to speak and to understand the speech. Ethnomusicologists would claim we need music to be fully human. So here it draws a parallel, a comparison between music and speech, because the ability to talk, to the speech, the language ability is also innate in human nature, and the language ability is actually unique to human beings. So the ethnomusicologists propose that the musical thinking and the musical ability is as important to language to human beings, and we need music to be fully human. So what is ethnomusicology? Ethnomusicology is the study of all of the world's music. Under certain circumstances, a simple folk song may have more human value than a complex symphony. So here, the ethnomusicology emphasizes the human value. So it's not only about the complexity, the intelligence value of a musical work, but human value means the song carries more emotional value, and it may trigger some memories, or it may serve as certain social functions to our human life. And it's not only about how good the music is or how complex it is. So it's not a study of the musical masterpieces, but it's a study of human-made sound or human organized sound as in the musical form. The study of the music of all of the world's people is a path to understanding human beings. So because musicality is innate in all human, and um, the manifestation of this ability is the creation of music in various ethnic groups in different cultures, and to study uh, the music of those different cultures provides a path to understanding how human being works, our how the humanity is defined in in such a way when we study the world music. Ethnomusicology might be defined as the study of the music of groups of people. So this is a breakdown of the terminology. So the study of the music of groups of people. So especially those sharing a common language and culture, namely ethnic groups, in other words. So this is the definition of musicology, and this is all for this lecture. Thanks for listening.